Hello, Shabbai. Assalamu alaikum. Kamon achen? I'm Waki, Abdullah. I have a friend here with me, Netsanet. Could you introduce yourself, Netsanet?
Hello, hi. My name is Netsanet. I am a student at the University of Sussex. I have recently finished my PhD in climate change. That's a quick introduction.
Yeah, and so you're doing a PhD at Sussex University?
Yes, I have done already. Finished.
You've done it already.
Yes.
And it's in physics, is it?
Yes, it's
climate change.
In climate, more of climate change. Yes. The impact of dust from the Saharan region. Its impact on regional and globally on the climate. That's the kind of research I have done.
Now we'd like to talk here about the peaceful protest in your country.
Yes.
How the government actually deal with it. Like, do they kill the protesters, the peaceful protesters in your country, in Ethiopia?
Yes, it is quite common in Ethiopia that government kill or shoot at a peaceful demonstration, including youngsters, teenagers, and many people have died in the last 27 years by the government, by shooting from the government security forces. So yeah, it's a very common thing. It's not uncommon in Ethiopia to hear people dying from shooting of the government.
And they also beat people,
yes,
as well as they use sniper to shoot people,
yes,
citizens.
Yes, what they do is when the government knows that there will be a peaceful demonstration, they always prepare snipers and they sit at the top of buildings and they shoot, they target select people, mostly the organizers, and they shoot them at the head, and so that's the government kills demonstrators. So.
And they sometimes do they wear the uniform or do they wear non-uniform? That those are the killers generally.
Mostly they have uniforms.
Yes.
They have uniforms.
So they belong to intelligence or police officers.
Yes, but the thing is in the demonstration, they are intelligence people who look like civilians.
Yes.
And these people sometimes they trigger violence, and they intentionally provoke the security forces.
Yes.
And so that that would be a reason for the
sorry, who provoke who here?
The intelligence people.
Yeah.
They are among the protesters.
Okay.
So sometimes they provoke the security forces.
So they mix with the protesters.
They mix with the protesters.
It's like the Second World War tactics when Hitler actually used a Polish uniform.
Exactly.
And Hitler used his own soldiers wearing Poland uniform.
Yes.
And then attacked their own German radar guard and then blamed the Poland for that, the tactics.
It's exactly the same. So there's intelligence people, they join the protest, and sometimes they throw something on the security forces, so that will give them like a reason to shoot. So one good advice that I would like to say here is that during such demonstrations, the people, they should look each other, and the organizers, they should be careful to identify if there are such people who want to throw something on the security forces. As long as it's a peaceful demonstration, it should be peaceful. People, when they go to the streets, it should be a peaceful demonstration.
But sometimes it might happen that we are actually doing a peaceful protest, but the police or the security force itself, like throwing tear gas at us or coming and beating us, even though we are just sitting there and protesting. Does that happen as well sometimes?
Yes, it happens, but the thing here is the demonstrators, the protesters, they should try to be as much as possible peaceful, because if there is any violence, the victims will be the protesters, not the government security forces. So the people should, as much as possible, try to avoid any violence. Yes. So that's one important thing. Even when the government security forces they try to throw this tear gas, then you should be more patient. I know sometimes it's difficult, given that what they are doing to the people, the wrongdoings, the corruption and all other things. Sometimes it may tempt your patience, but it is really, really important to be patient in such protesters.
And you also said that sometimes you can protest by just sitting at home.
Yes, that's another way to
Non-violent protest.
In non-violent protest to express your feelings towards the government. So in Ethiopia, currently there is a change in Ethiopia. We are transforming. It was a very, very bad dictator government for the last 27 years. But currently there is a change. And this change, it came at the expense of, the life of many people. Many people have died for this change to come. So one of the tactics or the ways we were using is this non-violent or peaceful protests, such as sitting at home, and so all the shops will be closed, and there is no activity for instance, this may happen for a week long sitting at home protest. It's really painful for the government. It's more painful than shooting and killing government security force. It's the economy will be affected. Like in one city, if the people sit at home for 1 week, that is really, really painful for the government. And it will come for negotiation. You will force them to come to discussion and negotiation. So this is one way that we have been using.
But is it not that when initially Ethiopian government were started to be corrupted, then enough people did not come and protest. That's why slowly the government has been more corrupt and slowly becoming more corrupt, and then all of a sudden it has gone out of control.
Yes.
So that it has gone out of the people's power. So people need to become together at once. Yes. All for one, all for one.
Yes, that's one of our major problem in Ethiopia. We didn't have the unity, which is like a key in a struggle, or
united we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah, that's what the government is using. So if you want a change, if you want to bring a change, you need always to be unified. This hasn't been so in Ethiopia for a long time until only recently. So it has been only like some killing will happen in one particular region, and other regions they just keep silent. Next day, that killing will go to the other region, and then the others will just keep silent. So this has somehow helped the government to stay in power for a long time. But only recently there was communication among people, the different parts of the country. This has caused a widespread protest throughout the country, which has at some point collapsed the government. So unity is very, very important. It's really a key. So you all need to come together and struggle together. Even if you have to die, you die together, or if you live together.
We rise together, we fall together.
Yes, that's a very important thing.
We rise together, we fall together. One last question. You have fought, and in the Ethiopia, you were an activist, right? In Ethiopia,
yes.
You fought for human rights.
Yes.
You were a political activist, and you've been in jail as well.
Yes.
Could you tell us about how do they actually physically and mentally torture in jail to break you? What did you do? I mean, if you be frank, please. Yeah.
Yes, I have been jailed in one of a famous detention center in Ethiopia. I was detained for 10 days for no obvious reason except my resistance to the government. So they torture people, they abuse people, and
to give me some real sense.
Yes, you know,
they use beating.
Yeah, they beat people. They physically beat people, and they use different mechanisms to beat people. I don't know if it's appropriate to mention it here, but you know.
But they go really nasty.
Yeah, yes, it's really bad.
Sometimes they're naked people.
They get you naked, like you know, for instance.
And they torture private parts sometimes.
Yes, you know, they hung something on your private part,
yes.
and it's really pain. It's not the physical pain, which is but the damaging part is they mentally, you know, affect people, so that, you know, when you come out of the prison, you will never think of
protesting again.
Yeah, doing that again. That's what they do. So, you know,
what they do mentally. How did I mean? You said sometimes they keep you in the dark room for days and days, and
yes,
they push the wall.
Yes, you know, they keep people. It's common actually.
What's the push the wall thing? You know, you told me once.
Yeah, they you know, they ask you to push a wall, and you get confused because you don't know what they want to do, and they ask you to push a wall, push it, yeah, and then you push it. And they tell you to push harder, and they just keep on telling you harder. And at the end, when you get tired, you see now, you can't move this wall, and we are like that wall. You will never do anything to us, no matter how hard you try. This is the kind of, you know, morally, you know,
destroying you.
Yeah, they affect you.
They're invincible, you know.
Yeah, they just want you that they are like forceful. You cannot do anything to them. So yeah, they do different technique, every possible techniques. Like they make you sit on electric chair. Yeah, those kind of things.
And they poke you with electric shocks.
Yeah, they do that. So, you know, the interrogation in Ethiopia, I think it's the worst in the world. We are like one of the most human right abusers in the world. So
it's a very corrupt country, right?
It's a very corrupted country,
like Bangladesh.
Yeah. And the reason why the Ethiopian government have been this long on power for 27 years, I think it's a very long time, is because of the division they create among the people. So
the Tigran and what's the other one?
You know, in Ethiopia there are many ethnic groups. So about, I think, more than 80-90 ethnic groups with different language. But the major ethnic groups are the Tigrans, which are the ones who are in power, and the Amhara people. And the Oromo.
The main Tigran is in the power.
The Tigrans,
and they think they're superior.
Yes, what they do is sometimes they put people on position, like a minister. But that minister is just a symbol. The person who is really doing the job is maybe, like, you know, the second person next to the minister. So
the ministry is just a sideshow.
Yeah, you know, it's just a puppet. You know, puppet. Yeah, that's what they do. So, but the most important, the key government offices are controlled by them. The Tigrans, military, intelligence, you know, security forces, and, you know, foreign relations.
So Tigran is like Awami League in Bangladesh, actually, the current ruling party. Those who are enforcing power in you know, to stop this peaceful protest.
Yeah, so yeah, it's similar in Ethiopia. So these Tigrans are actually the number of Oromo people is about 33 million.
You have 100 million people altogether.
Yeah, Ethiopia is 100 million.
But 5% is only these Tigrans.
Yes, so the Oromos are 33, the Amharas about 29-30 million, and the Tigrans are only 5 million. You know, there's a minority.
Yeah, but they have unity.
Yeah,
because they're so corrupt.
Yeah, they are corrupted, and they create division among the other
using
group.
propaganda.
Yes, different propaganda. Even in the curriculum.
Yeah.
In the curriculum, in the education.
System,
the system. They wrote things which are not true. They're false things. False history, which didn't even happen. But that history creates division among, especially the Amhara and the Oromo.
What's the last few words you would say to the Bangladeshi people, those who are still fighting the protest, but they've been beaten and they need some hope? What would you say to them? They should come out to protest again?
Yes, always, if you want something, you have to...
The rights.
You always need to do, the protests or whatever. It's really important. You shouldn't sit, no matter what the government does. You always need to protest. And the other thing is, you need to come together. You should be united and, help each other. And another thing is, like, when you go to peaceful demonstrations, it's always better to keep it peaceful. Otherwise, the people is gonna be the victim. You are opposing the killing of people by the government, and if you go out and more people are dying, then what is the point after all? So try to make it as peaceful as possible, and it should be also organized. The organizers, they should play important role, like in organizing these demonstrations, so that it will go in order.
But how do they find leaders when it's so dispersely organized, so massive?
Leaders, they come from the community, from the people. So they will be targeted somehow. The government will target them. That's obvious, because as I told you, in Ethiopia, these snipers, they know who are the organizers, and they kill from the top of the building. They kill them. So I know
they sometimes go their home and pick them up, and then take them and torture them.
Sometimes. Sometimes they take them from home and they arrest them, and
is it sometimes or most of the time?
It's common. It's a very common thing in my country.
So they'll pick you up. They'll go home, pick you up, and then they can torture you.
Yeah, despite all this pressure, the organizers, they should play a key role in making it order the demonstration. Otherwise, it's very difficult. If it's orderless, or
How do you find fake from the truth? Some protests, like you said, some intelligence are faking it and coming inside you. How do you recognize that? Is that eye to eye and a heart to heart resemblance?
Yes, that's the thing. The thing is, the most important thing here is that the people, the protesters, mostly they know each other, who's next to each other. They know each other. So when they see something which is quite different, these people who come into
to be vigilant.
These people, they are different. You can see them, like mostly they're on the phone, talking on the phone, and they want to start some violence. They want to throw something, so when this thing happens, they should tell them to the organizers, so that they will take them out, or do something about that. So that's the people is really important here. When they see something different, they should inform the organizers, so that.
But let's be real. And sometimes the protest, when you're doing peaceful protest, sometimes it's just go outrageous. They start beating you. They start, blood's coming out of you, and they start raping, and they start peeling eyes. At that time, at what point one should stand up and resist with force, because otherwise the other force will kill you.
Yeah, I know, but it's tempting. Like your patience, it has limit, and your patience has limit. At some point, it may go violent. But what I'm trying to say here is, if peaceful protest got violent, then the victims will be the protesters.
Okay.
So you have to think of this, and I would say if it goes wrong at some point, they should retreat. I mean, if the government security forces start shooting,
retreat.
Yeah, they should retreat
and come back another day.
Come back in another day, or use another technique, as we say, like staying at home, or there are different ways. Yeah. So I mean, like you shouldn't stand with the security force who has weapons or shooting at you, and you don't have anything.
Unless it's an all-out war.
Yeah, I mean, So I mean, if it is violent, then I suggest to settle down and think another way of maybe, as you said, coming back another day, or doing some other technique. So that's what I would suggest.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Love to Ethiopia. Love to Bangladesh.
Yeah, love to Bangladesh. I hope your fight will have fruit at some point.
Yes.
I hope you bring the change that you are fighting for. So I wish you good luck, and
and I hope that at the end of this black tunnel we'll see the sunshine.
Yes, definitely.
In both countries.
In both countries. Yeah, that's right.
We are friends, Ethiopia and Bangladeshis.
Yeah, great. Cheers.
We are the new generation. We will rise together. We'll fall together.
That's right.
We're one nation. The whole earth is one nation.
Yeah, we are with you. We are with you guys.
And we have a group called the People's Power. People's Power belong to anybody in the world.
That's right.
People's Power from Ethiopia, People's Power from Bangladesh.
That's correct.
Bangladesh called Janata Shakti, People's Power.
Yeah.
So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and joy Bangla, joy Bangladesh, joy hok Janata Shaktir, joy hok prottekti jiboner.
Cheers.